Celestial Sun Lore, Chapter 5, The Fractured Sun Incident, Part 2. Atop the Adeptus Mechanicus Observatory, Elric takes in the death and destruction all around him. He sighs as he notices a presence behind him.
Why, brother? We fought side by side. You should know this doesn't have to happen. Forces unbeknownst to us are orchestrating our own demise. We must inform the Emperor.
Leman Russ cuts off Elric with a snarl, and he takes out his weapon. Elric puts on his helmet as well, and also readies his spear. The Primarks of the 6th and the 11th Legions begin their fated battle amidst the cries of a dying world. A whirlwind of fury dances across the battleground as sparks and blood splatter, both warriors unrelenting in their assault. The icy fist of the Wolf King connects hard across Elric's head, cracking his helmet. The next two blows launches him across the observatory before a tackle sends them both plummeting through a window to the ground below. As Elric crashes through the glass, time seems to slow down. He sees his reflection in the glass all around him. His armor has been torn to shreds. How has he taken so much damage? Was he subconsciously losing on purpose? Did he want to die along with his legion on this world? The dust settles, and Russ stands above Elric, spear at his throat.
I expected more from you, so-called light of the Imperium.
And with that, the wolf's fangs pierces his prey's neck. The execution has been enacted. Or so he thought. Just then, Elric's body begins to burn with a white-hot flame. The wound in his throat cauterized, he stands once again. The heat radiating from Elric scorches Russ's body. It feels as though the sun itself is right before him. He has to end this quick, before he's burned to a crisp. His vision is already blurring as the liquid in his eyes begins to evaporate.
Damned witch!
Russ yells out as blood flies out from his dried throat. Fire and ice clash once again, but this time the Wolf King's spear rips its way through Elric's chest, narrowly missing his heart. The fire fades, and the Primarch of the Celestial Suns coughs up blood. A smirk forms on his face, for he strategically took the hit in order to ensure his next attack would be a death blow. With all his might, Elric thrusts his spear at his opponent, but upon impact, the spear tip shatters. Emerald light glimmers for a split second, as a massive shockwave sends both Primarchs flying across the world. Emerging from its ancient prison, a being from a long-distant past has been set free. This is a Catan of Sva-Kotar, the Void Eater. Created from swirling gases and a tremendous amount of energy, this is an ancient star god who has existed since the origins of the universe. At first, these gods ate upon the very stars themselves, uncaring of everything around them, until the Necrontyr made contact with them. With an earth-shaking roar, the Shard of Sva-Kotar made his presence known to all those on the Forge of Eldia. The entirety of the Space Wolf Legion instinctively knew the danger that this being possessed. Even before its body could fully manifest, its blood-red eyes locked on to a squad of space wolves. Their bolters had little to no effect as the Catan devoured the 5-man squad in a single gulp, erasing them from existence, along with the rubble they stood upon. Russ could barely contain his anger as he assumed that this creature was created via psychic powers, further cementing his hatred for Psykers. Seeing that the creature kept increasing in size and power, Russ had no choice but to vox for all available Imperial forces to convene on his location and eradicate this new threat. This was the break the Celestial Sons needed. Although many had either perished or sided with the Imperium, those who still pled loyally to the Primarch of the 11th had very little to no way of leaving the planet. With their Vox communications being jammed, all hope seemed lost. But their fire never gave out. They continued to fight for their Primarch's sake. Until he gave the order, they would give it their all. Alec Elric awoke impaled on a piece of rebar. The force of the Cataan's release sent him through piles of rubble. Battered, bloody, and broken, Elric saw the cataclysmic battle against this creature, which resided within his weapon. Was this yet another one of Tzeentch's plots? He had no time to ponder this question. Elric had to act fast. He saw a crashed Thunderhawk over the horizon, and betting it would still operate, he began making his way over towards it. But out from the corner of his eye, 2 golden beams struck down. From golden light they came, 2 of the Imperium's finest warriors, the Adeptus Custodes, had come for Elric. The Emperor's finest fought as one, each other covering any openings while the other attacked. Elric had to use his secondary weapon, a broadsword which he would wreathe in warp flame. This bulky weapon, in Elric's worn-out state, allowed for the battle to come to a standstill. However, Elric knew that the longer this fight lasted, the likelihood of him coming out victorious went down. Still, he pressed on the attack, and when the Custode went to parry, the multiple warp flame hits finally weakened the Castellan axe enough to cleave through its hilt and straight through the warrior's chest. The agonizing heat cooked the Custode from the inside out, but yet he grabbed on to Elric's sword. The other Custode utilized this sacrifice to get behind Elric. Donning his own and his fallen comrade's Misericordia, he let out a barrage of slicing attacks. Just then, a hail of Volkite blasts ripped apart the Adeptus Custode. Tachyon Black and the Angelus Solaris had arrived. With the aid of his honor guard, Elric made his way into the Thunderhawk gunship, and to their surprise, it worked. But all was not well. Succumbing to his wounds, Elric began to fall in and out of consciousness. Visions of death, destruction, and so much more plagued the Primarch once again, plummeting his psyche into despair. Elric awoke in a black abyss. Before him stood a massive entity, donning a white mask.
Finally, we meet face to face, Primarch.
The 11th Legion was charged with treason, the use of forbidden xenotechnology, falsely accusing the Adeptus Mechanicus of treason, planetary genocide, and suspicion of utilizing forbidden warp powers. Some Celestial Son Astartes turned their back on their legion, and they were inducted into the ranks of the Ultramarines. The Forge of Eldia was met with exterminatus, eliminating the Catan Shard and any stranded Celestial Son. Alec Elric and those still loyal to him fled into space, unorganized, and with Imperial strike forces searching for them. The Celestial Sons and their Primarch were erased from all Imperial records. The Age of Light had come to its end.